So congratulations on your newest poetry collection. I hear it just dropped today on Amazon. Sparrow in the Machine. Let's toast it up.
Well, thank you, interviewer Tara.
Alright. So on that note, let's tell the audience about the origins of the title and the meaning behind the title.
The origins of the title. Wow. So after writing the first book, which was a collection of different poems that I wrote throughout the years, and compiling those poems into 100 Years to Be Lost, my first book, I thought I wanted to write something more personal in a way, and more, I say personal, but also more refined. I guess is that like refined in that it had a theme that I really struggled with, identified with, and that was one of social injustice that was hitting very strong with me in 2018. So I was like, I want to do something like that. So the next thing, once I had the theme, I was like, what? I didn't know what to call it. I really didn't. And then one day, me and Tara were in, I think Aldi's, and we were just shopping. I said, and it just came to me, and I was like, I didn't know what she would think about it, but it was like Sparrow in the Machine, and the Sparrow is struggling with the machine and being in an unnatural place, which is a machine. A machine is just so unnatural for a sparrow, but as you know, if you live in a city, you live in a country, you see sparrows all over the place. They are survivors. So I thought it was very much identified with the struggle of so many in the United States, and something cold representing the machine, and something hard, something that's constructed for a certain purpose in a sparrow. It's just so God-given. So if you ever watch them, they are some rugged creatures, but beautiful and delicate at the same time. So that's where the concept of the two different opposing things came together.
So you would say that the sparrow represents the humanity and the struggles of humanity, especially certain sects of humanity, and the machine represents the things they're struggling against.
Exactly. So I thought of the concept, and I thought it was a cool concept. It's such out of place, and it's something that will catch the attention. So the book really, from that theme, once I had the title, the next thing was just getting to work and trying to work on the different pieces.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned that this concept before was first realized in all these. That was 2018, I believe. How did COVID, which has definitely been since that time, and the social injustice and police brutality that has proliferated since then affect your creative process?
Yeah. So COVID was really tough. I felt for a long time, maybe a few months, I felt very stifled. There was a point in time, even writing, I didn't feel, because I was still dealing with COVID and what it meant, and just the changes that meant, and the impact on family members. So it was tough. It was tough writing for a little bit, but actually in the end, it's like all struggles. You come out through the other side of that tunnel, and you're stronger for it. So going through the COVID experience actually helped my writing. They're definitely heavily influenced by that. I think I had more time to focus once I got through to readjusting to life with COVID, which is not going out. Like, we weren't going out, we were all masking up. And then the social injustice part that kind of just interwove itself with COVID. It became a political issue to mask and not mask up, and what that meant, and for different people across racial lines. It's a lot of gray area, and definitely impacted. Police brutality just really pulled on my heart. I hope I did it justice in the book. I really wanted to talk about that and write about that in a way that I think someone who's never been a part of that conversation can take part in it and maybe even empathize. And that's one thing that I hope with all the pieces, that you don't read with Gregory Carlisle's voice, you read with your own voice. And that was important to me. So that's how it impacted it. It would have been a vastly different book if we didn't have COVID and if things were, they have never been right, but if we didn't have the upheaval that we saw from 2018 to even now.
So all protagonists have an origin story. So how did you get started writing poetry?
That's a great question. So in a way, the way I started was through hip hop, to be honest with you. My first things that I wrote were me initially first, and then my friends writing different verses. You know, everybody wanted to be a star, and where I'm from, Hampton Roads, we are known for putting out a lot of artists, very famous. There's a lot of artists that came through out of that area. So really started for me just writing rhymes in class, not paying attention like I should have been. But from that, early in high school, I want to say 9th grade, during English class, they had us write some poetry, and they gave us poetry. I forgot who it was from. I want to say maybe Robert Frost or something like that, and they wanted us to mimic the format of the poem, and I was kind of excited by that. I never wrote really any poetry other than, love letters to different girlfriends, but I never wrote any real poetry. And when I turned it in, the teacher really liked it. And that started, I guess, me down the path of I think I can do this pretty well. And later on in my junior year of high school, I wrote as a part of a poetry collection for the school. And then from that point, it just carried on. Love Jones came out, and I was in that scene. We used to go to a place called Fuzzy Wednesdays and just trying to develop myself as a spoken word artist. That was important to me, but that was not really focused as I am now. And I say it that way because I love spoken word artists, but I love for someone to read what I write in their own voice. And that's important to me. I do have that performing background of being freestyle hip hop back in the day and also doing some spoken word. But it's actually important for me now that what I write, you read it in your own voice, and I hope and I pray that you can get something from that can help you in your life, whether it's development, growth, or just seeing things from a different perspective.
You just spoke on travel, so aside from poetry, of course, what are some of your current interests?
Some of my current interests is actually outdoors. I don't know if it's a sparrow, but I have a group of sparrows in my backyard that are like gangsters. So I like looking at birds. I like bird watching a little bit. I definitely like to see natural monuments, for lack of a better word, parks, landmarks rather, exactly. Grand Canyon. I love to just get back and relax and have a good time. I love music. That is such an art form that I guess it's good that I don't have that talent, because I would definitely be one of those struggling artists that just would not give it up. So I don't have the talent to sing, but I love hearing a song that is thought-provoking, similar to what I said about hip-hop. So those are just some of the things I like. I love hearing poets express themselves. Really like jazz as well.
So going back to your poetry and your current work, Sparrow and the Machine, what is your favorite poem from Sparrow?
I believe, and that's hard. So it's like kids, you don't want to pick a favorite. But one of the poems that I thought was really crazy and out there was it's a poem called "From the Sun, Sincerely Me," and that poem, not to give it away, but to give you where the sense I was at, it was like from the sun. You're like, what are you talking about? But in my way, like we can be so close on this earth plane of existence that we are on, but yet so far away, and that's kind of just the theme of the poem is like we're so far away. And what would happen if we get closer? But I'm on the sun, so what does that mean? Getting closer means something catastrophic might happen, but we still hope it happens, and it's not going to be catastrophic because we have ways in the poem that I kind of express that, anything's possible in this day and age that we live in, and that there's no limits on what we can or cannot do. So that is one of the poems, because some of the poems I look back and I'm like, did I write that? Not to in a gloating way. It's almost like, but I'm paying homage to my ancestors, because I do feel like, they are represented deeply in this book, in the concepts. I wouldn't be here without them. So I definitely pay all respect to that. So hopefully that answered your question.
So no, I have another question for you. We're getting to the end. You talk about your favorite poem, but I am an insider, so I'm going to ask you a little bit about my favorite poem.
Okay.
Tell the audience about Darius and Nina. You mentioned Love Jones. I think it's very important for them to get that connection.
So this is a poem, and I think you and I were watching the movie, and I was like, wow, I want to know what happened. I've always wanted to know what happened. I love to see films that have carried on that same tradition of Love Jones. It was a very beautiful type of love, not perfect, but in its imperfectness, or that's not even a word, but in it being imperfections, it was beautiful. So I started thinking about the two characters played in the movie, and writing almost an open letter to them and saying, hey guys, are you still trying to exhaust the possibilities? I mean, are y'all still there, or is love for dead? Did you fall into the routine that we all can fall into? Where are you at? The sequel starring the Love Halls never came. And that's where that originated from. And it was like that poem shaped a lot of my early life when I was in the open mics, trying to, scared as I don't know what, to stand in front of a crowd, but
pulled on the spirit,
yeah,
brother of the night.
Yeah, I pulled on the spirit. I was like, man, I'm keep going out here and trying to express myself. So it shaped, I'm sure, like a lot of you guys, it shaped a lot of my early, 94, 95, 96. It shaped my life in my early 20s. And so that is one of my favorites too. But that was a layup. But that is one of my favorites, because I think a lot of people identified. We want to see the sequel. So Darius and Nina, where is the sequel?
And so last but certainly not least, you have to tell the audience prior work, this work, anthologies. What are they? Where can you find them?
Okay, so prior work is 100 Years to Be Lost. That can be found on primarily Amazon or Kindle. That was all me and my wife doing that solo. Very proud of that work. The new work, Sparrow and the Machine, can be found on pretty much all platforms. Right now, you can find it in the ebook format on Amazon, Kindle, and also store.bookbaby.com or bookbaby.com. You look for their bookshop, you'll find it. It will be made available in a paperback version coming soon. You'll be able to pre-order that. But what I would ask for you is not so much you buy it. I understand. I mean, it's $3.99 as an ebook, but add it to your wish list on Amazon.com. That would be so appreciative. I mean, so much so. So we're gonna do some promos coming up. We're gonna do things that kind of lead up to the official book launch when we have a paperback. Look forward to that.
So, we gotta tell them though, why is it important to add it to wish list? Because it doesn't make sense if you don't understand.
Okay, so Amazon has an algorithm, and it really determines how fast you can get the book. So if we have individuals, you guys, going there, adding it to your wish list, going to my author page and liking the page, subscribing to the page, what that does impact how many books they have in the inventory of my poetry collection. So instead of seeing 7 to 10 days, you'll see they can get it out to you in a day or two. So that's why it's important to go and do that.
So 3 ways to support you. Instagram is what?
Instagram is whole words underscore words.
Okay. Facebook, your author page.
Gregory Carlisle, I'm on Facebook.
Okay. And your Amazon author page, right?
Yep, also Amazon. If you search for Gregory Carlisle, you'll see me on Amazon as well.
And if I'm not mistaken, Goodreads.
Goodreads, I'm also there. And it also, don't forget the publisher. Also check me out on bookbaby.com. They have a storefront for their authors that they support independently. They are a great resource. I would recommend them to anybody. They really help bring my vision to life. And I'm deeply appreciative for the partnership there.
Okay, so I think we have thoroughly gotten inside the gears. So that's a wrap.
That is a wrap.
Toast to you.
Okay. Toast to you guys too. Y'all take care and be safe.